What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another episode of Player Ratings. Always great to bring you these videos after a win, especially with those big performances out there from certain players yesterday at St James's Park as we spoiled the money party up in Newcastle, up in the northeast. But let's get straight into the player ratings. Let's start off with Hugo Lloris. 6s all round from us. I mean, he was just pretty much untested throughout the whole game, really, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, the 2 goals he conceded couldn't do anything with them. Wilson's goal and then Dier's own goal had no chance pretty much of either of them. Other than that, I can't remember too many shots on target Newcastle had, so it wasn't a difficult day in the end for Lloris. Even when Newcastle were on top early doors, it wasn't like they were peppering the goal, was it?
Exactly. And let's move on to Emerson Royal, right back on the day. I thought he started off really shaky, didn't he? Really shaky, some loose touches. And you could see he was really a player that did play on the early hours of Friday morning. He looked leggy, but he did grow into the game as the game wore on, and I thought he impacted the game quite positively, and then got booked, quite rightly so, to be honest.
Yeah, Joe Linton was giving him quite a tough time throughout the whole game, surprisingly enough. But I thought in the end he dealt pretty competently with the night, and I think, you know, in the final third again, he got in there in quite a few occasions, didn't really provide much quality. He was unlucky not to have won a penalty with that Matt Ritchie handball. But other than that, it was a competent standard there, and he must have been knackered after it because, you know, playing for Brazil not long before. So I think he did put in a good effort in the end, and it looked like it was going to be a liability at the start. But in the end, he turned out to be okay.
Yeah, which moves on to Cristian Romero. Sim gives him a 7. I gave him a 6. Again, I thought he started off, looked very leggy. Should have done better probably to have the awareness that Callum Wilson was coming in from behind him. There were a lot of kind of rash lunges and a few mistakes in that first half. But I thought in the second half he really did grow into the game, and he had a good showing.
Yeah, I think he was a cut above the rest again, Romero. I know he was a bit sluggish again, a bit similar to Emerson, a bit sluggish at the start, but I think he grew into it more than Emerson did, and he started to really dominate, and he started to, once Wilson got that goal, we didn't see him again pretty much throughout the whole game, and he had to actually be taken off near the end because he was just making so little impact. I think his aggression off the ball is just second to none, and he's so vital to the team, and also quite a few long passes as well, similar to Dier, were coming off quite well, so a good display from Romero.
Yeah, which moves us on to Eric Dier. 6s all round from us, and he was solid for the most part. I thought he had a good game, Eric Dier. A lovely ball out to Reguilón for our equaliser as well. But that blot on his performance was obviously that own goal in the last minute that put us under a lot of pressure to seal off that win, that 3-2 win. Yeah, I thought pretty much solid all in all, though.
Yeah, I think he's unfortunate that that own goal went against him. I think overall, he had a pretty good game, and on the ball as well. I think his passing was very precise and progressive as well, getting us into good attacking positions and getting us into places where getting the ball quickly into forward players in space, and that was very positive. So despite the late own goal, it was a pretty decent display from Dier.
Which moves us on to Sergio Reguilón. 8 all round, and a very impressive display from Reguilón, that's for sure. I thought he was getting down that left-hand side of the pitch all day long. He was giving them no end of problems on that left-hand side. Didn't have to do much defensively, to be fair, but I think he got an assist for Ndombele's goal, which was a really lovely pass. Got John Joe Shelby sent off as well. And on top of that, he was just giving them no end of problems on that left-hand side. I mean, the only negative thing I could say about him is maybe his hand in their first goal, and maybe he could do a bit better with deliveries into the box as well.
Yeah, I think the first goal was a bit difficult for him. He was 2-on-1. He couldn't do 2. It's difficult. Either way, he could be stuck. But I think overall, brilliant game from Reguilón, who was a threat throughout the whole game, linking up really well when he got forward. I think he got a lot more license to go forward with the 2 defensive midfielders sitting, and he gave boundless amounts of energy, good on the counter-attack as well, so really great display from Reguilón.
And we move over to Ollie Skipp. 8 all round from us. Another brilliant display from that man, Ollie Skipp. He really gives the forward players license to go, license to strut their stuff. He allows Højbjerg to strut his stuff going forward, and I think that he just gives us that presence in the middle that we desperately need, and we've desperately needed for a long time. And, you know, he was threading balls through. I thought it was just a really, really big display from Ollie Skipp, and it just shows how important he is to this team.
Yeah, he really helps give balance and settles the team really well. I thought the amount of times he was just sweeping up behind Højbjerg and making tackles on the Newcastle counter-attack and preventing attacks. And I remember there was one time he played a really nice ball into Moura, who should have done better in the final third in the second half. And I think he's great to watch as well. I think he goes unnoticed a bit, but I think that's sometimes when he's at his best, where you don't really understand all the good stuff he's doing, because I think he's mopping up so well and he's giving really great protection, and he's unleashing Højbjerg a bit as well, allowing him to go forward, and he's really doing great work for the team.
Yep. Let's move on to Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Sim gives him an 8. I gave him a 7. It was his through ball to Harry Kane, that brilliant through ball actually, that allowed him to play that nice ball. That allowed Kane to lob it over the keeper. Absolutely brilliant ball from Højbjerg. It's Ollie Skipp that obviously that sits behind Højbjerg and lets Højbjerg strut his stuff. And I thought, it was a good display from Højbjerg. I don't think it was his best display, but I do think it was a very big display from him yesterday.
I thought he was brilliant. I thought he was really brilliant yesterday, Højbjerg, and I thought his long passing, really, really strong, spraying balls out really, really well. And not only does I think Skipp help him go forward, I actually think Skipp allows him to do more defensive work as well, because I feel like when Højbjerg is tasked with putting out fires left, right, and centre, he actually it's a bit of a weird one because he's got so overworked he actually can't do anything, whereas now Skipp is there to help him out with the defensive job. Now he can concentrate his defensive work in certain areas of the pitch and he can get a lot more defensive work done, and actually improves his defensive game. And I think I saw that yesterday. I think he made 9 tackles yesterday, which is a mammoth amount. So I think Højbjerg had a really strong showing, again showing that box-to-box element to his game, which we saw in the Euros, which I believe he's at his best at. And I think we're seeing Højbjerg a lot more comfortable on the pitch with Skipp next to him, and I think he just helps the team in all areas of the pitch when he's there, when he's got help with him.
Yeah. Let's move on to Tanguy Ndombele. Sim gives him a 9. I gave him an 8. He really was strutting his stuff yesterday. I mean, he was just completely toying with the Newcastle midfielders and Newcastle defenders yesterday. His performance with a brilliant finish into the top right-hand corner. And he was just a thorn in Newcastle's side pretty much the whole afternoon. Completed the 90 minutes. A very energetic display, winning the ball back countless amount of times. And Newcastle just didn't know how to deal with him. They just did not know how to deal with him. But I would call on him to make a bit more impact in the final third than he did.
Yeah, lovely goal, wasn't it, though, that he scored in the first half. And he actually had the most shots out of anyone, which maybe goes to show that he's been asked to shoot more from Nuno, which might be, considering how his goal went, might be a good tactic. But I thought his dribbling was effortlessly brilliant, as always. Had a hand in the first goal and the third goal as well. And he was a thorn in the Newcastle, so they didn't know how to deal with him. Even in Tottenham's defensive third, he was nutmegging players and doing things and doing tricks near the corner flag, and they couldn't get the ball off him. Frankly, sometimes he's just ridiculous. You don't know.
When he's in that mood, he's unplayable, isn't he?
Yeah, and he got Shelvey his first yellow, I believe, with a lovely bit of skill. And yeah, he probably could do a bit more in the final third when given the opportunity. But I thought him in that position, the more he plays, he's hopefully going to improve. And he linked up so well with the front three. Yeah. It was a delight to watch.
And pretty much like all the good work we did attacking-wise came through him, pretty much, didn't it?
A lot of it did, 100%.
Let's move on to Heung-min Son. Sim gives him an 8. I gave him a 7. And I thought it was a good display from Sonny. He was always looking to get the ball, always looking for the ball, always looking to attack their defence as well. Capped his performance off with a goal as well. And it was, look, I think it was a good display from Sonny, just not his best display.
Yeah, I think actually, on reflection, 8 might be a bit generous, but he did get a really nice finish at the back post, helping out Harry Kane. And I think just in general, he was our biggest threat on the counter-attack throughout the match. He was the one really trying to get in behind Newcastle. And we should have put them to the sword a bit more. I don't think he had too many shots, actually, at the end of the day. Sonny could have had a few more shots. But I think he was a big threat on the counter. And I thought he played well in general. And actually, after the first minute where he didn't help Reguilón for the goal, I think after that he learned his lesson and he started helping him out and did well for the team.
All right, let's move over to Lucas Moura. Lucas Moura. Sim gives him an 8. I give him a 7. Again, a really good display from Lucas Moura, carrying on his really good form this season. I thought he was giving Newcastle, a bit like Tanguy Ndombele, no end of problems throughout the game. He was getting the ball, he was beating men. And what really was the best moment of the game from him, obviously, was that moment where he took it past Hayden and played that lovely ball into Harry Kane, who slotted it straight into Heung-min Son. And that's what you want to see Lucas Moura do more, impact things in the final third, and that's what he did yesterday.
Yeah, again, another player who, when you give him space, he's so hard to deal with. And he forces Newcastle players to pick up yellow cards as well and fouls when they don't want to. As you say, that piece of play for the third goal was bit of magic which we needed, and a great through ball. He also hit the bar with a header which was very unlucky from a corner, and there was a few moments where he had a bit of time in the final third and he kind of screwed it up, but in general I thought another really strong display, and he really is a really good foil for Kane and Son when they're all on form.
Definitely. And last but not least, of the starting 11 was Harry Kane. Sim gives him a 9. I gave him an 8. Really back at it. Much better performance from Harry Kane. You can really see the confidence coming straight back into him. I thought he was at it pretty much all game long. A great goal, a great finish, lobbing over the keeper, and a really nice assist to Heung-min Son as well.
Yeah, and I think his general play, he was a lot more further forward on the last shoulder, looking for the run in behind a lot more, and a lot of the times it was coming off for him. He was being found numerous times by other players, and he seemed just a nuisance that Newcastle couldn't handle. As you say, the goal and assist capped off what I thought in general was actually a very good display from him, and he was doing some really good dribbling as well. I remember on the corner flag, getting round a few Newcastle players, setting up chances. So it looked like Harry Kane's getting back to his best. And obviously that away goal record he's getting, very impressive.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, how many is away from Rooney now?
88 goals in 128 games, and he's 6 away from Rooney.
Wow.
For the most away goals ever in the Premier League.
That's crazy. That's crazy. And last but not least, the manager, Nuno Espírito Santo. Sim gives him an 8. I gave him a 7. With the lineup, I think it was absolutely spot on. Got that bit of luck that Heung-min Son and Bryan Gil were in the squad. Obviously, if Sonny didn't play this game and Gil was out as well, I dread to think what would have happened. But I think we still would have won the game on the balance, how everything went. But you got to commend Nuno for his tactics. We really played well yesterday. Really nice attacking football. So that's a good mark for him. And the way he managed the game was a problem for me. Obviously, it didn't turn out to be a problem, but I think that in the last 15, 20 minutes, I felt that we did look a bit leggy. We did need that bit more energy on the pitch to combat Newcastle. But I think that we won the game, so you can't really complain too much. But against a better side, we probably might have drawn that game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that he was wrong not to make more subs in the game. But I think in general, he had a lot of problems to deal with pre-game, and I think he managed the squad pretty well in the end. It would have been easy. He had to make a judgment call on all the South American players and everything else, and he ended up putting 2 of them in. And I think he made the right decision in the end, considering the displays they put in, decent displays in the end. And in terms of the subs, he probably should have made subs, but the fact that he didn't, and we still retained control of the game throughout, even in the last bit, even though we conceded own goal out of nowhere, we still had control over it, despite it being a bit nervy. So I think he got it right, probably, you have to say, in the end of the day. So I think we are improving. We definitely are improving in aspects of the team, of the structure, the pressing structure. I think Nuno's they're starting to get to grips with how he wants to play. So I'm seeing improvements. It was definitely our most dominant display throughout the season, while also looking dangerous. So credit to Nuno where it's due, and that's why I gave him an 8.
Completely spot on. Yeah, I completely agree with that. So that is our player ratings. I want to know your opinions on our ratings, and put your ratings in the comment section below. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.